Hello friends, so today we're going to discuss the second problem from the latest Codeforces round 708, problem named M arrays. This problem is not too difficult to understand, but yeah, we have to think over this problem out. I have also to think over this problem how to understand or how to come up with the idea. I have solved this problem during the contest also, but I will try to explain you in as easy terms as possible. So the problem statement states that you are given n positive integers and an positive integer m. Okay, so you are inputted like an array and an positive integer m. You should divide the elements in this array into some another some simple form of arrays. So you have to divide the whole number of array elements into smaller chunks of arrays, such that you can also reorder the elements according to you as you want. Such that let's call an array m divisible if each of the two adjacent number in the arrays, their sum is divisible by m. So you have to divide this whole array into smaller chunks of arrays. You can reorder it also if you possible, such that whatever is the small chunk of array, if you do a sum of every two adjacent numbers, they should be divisible by m. Okay, so an array of 1 is also m divisible. So this is also one important point, which means that even if there is one element array, even the element sum is not divisible by m. If the size is 1, you can also call it m divisible. I'll tell you more with the example part. So you have to tell us what is the smallest number of m divisible array you can form. Why it is smallest? Because see, they have told you that one element is also m divisible. If you just take out one element array, it is also 1 divisible. So just divide down all the array elements into 1 1 1. So that's the answer also. But that will form the largest number of m divisible array. You have to find out the smallest number. So you have to divide it optimally. Now if you understand the first example, what you can see here is if you divide them into 3 arrays, this whole array, such that this is the first array, this is the second and the third array, we have to divide on all the elements obviously. Then in the first array, as you can see, if you take out any two adjacent numbers, there are only two numbers, not like you have to take any two adjacent, like this adjacent numbers, such that this sum should be divisible by 4, which is m. So as you can see that the sum is divisible by 4. In this also the sum is divisible by 4, and because now the sum is not divisible by 4, but because we have stated in the question that one element is also array is also called m divisible. So as you can see, the answer of this is 3. Now how to approach such type of problem? Now see, first thing that what comes to my mind after solving after seeing this problem is, if I put down all the numbers which are divisible by m into one array, which means that as you can see 4 and 8, they both are divisible by 4. Or if I take out any numbers which are divisible by m, if I put them in a single array, why not? It is a benefit because I am putting down all the numbers into one array, and obviously if I take all the numbers are divisible by m only, so if I also take out two elements and sum it out, also their sum will be divisible by m only. So it's better to put down all the numbers which are divisible by m into one array. Okay, now if the other elements are not divisible by m, how to put them accordingly? Now my main task is I have to put down the elements somehow their sum should be divisible by m. I hope you get the point. So how you can make the sum divisible by m? It's obviously simple that their modulo add up to m. What I mean by this is, let's assume I have 4, I have m equal to 4. Okay, now if I have some number which is 2 and I want to another add some number such that the sum of this number and the next number should be divisible by 4. Okay, what should I do? Why this number is not divisible by 4? My question is why this number is not divisible by 4, because it is giving a remainder of 2 when it is divisible by 4. I hope you get the point. So I have to add one more number such that it should be a counterpart, such that it should become, when that number and that number should add up, they should give a remainder of the remainder of 4 and they cancel out this 4. So it means that I should add a number which is n mod m, it should also give 2. If any number which is n mod m means that if I take any number whose modulus will also give 2 and this number is also giving a mod 2, so when they both add they will give a modulus 4. and this will also cancel out by this m, so the answer will obviously be like, it will obviously total divided by 4. So I will tell you that only 2 or 2 or 4, or not 4, actually 6, or add again 4 to it, 10. If I just write down 2 and 2, why not, like addition of 2 and 2 will give a modulus divided by 4 only, na? If I do 2 and 6, don't you think that the total of 2 and 6 will give you 8? Why this is happening, that it is divisible by 4 only? Because the modulus of this, when you do 6 mod 4, it is also giving a modulus of 2. And this is also like 2 mod 4 is also giving a modulus of 2. So this 2 plus 2 will giving a 4, and that will be cancelled out by this. I hope you get the point. What we are doing here is, so we have to first like clarify or actually divide all the numbers according to their modulus. Okay, so I'll take you through the example, like this example only, or like this example, which will be more fine. So I'll post down this example here. Okay, so I think the color is not. Yeah, so yeah, so as you can see the numbers here. Now what you can do here is, for the modulus of this is 8. The modulus of this is 8. Now what you can do here is first classify all the numbers according to their modular form. So the modulus of this 8 can be, the modulus can be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, now if you divide the first one, you will get a modulus of like this, like you will get a modular of 1. So increment this by 1. Now again you will get a modular of 1, so again get a modular of 1. What I mean by this is, now there are 3 numbers which when we do a modulus of that number with 8, you will get 1. So how many numbers are there? 3. Okay, then we do a 5, so we get a number 5 only. So because when we do 5 mod 8, the remainder will be 5 only, na? So that's why we're incrementing 1 to 5. Now 2, so we're incrementing by 1. 4, we're incrementing by 1. Again 4, so incremented by, like it becomes 2. 8, it becomes 0, like the 0 will become 1 because 8 mod 8 equals 0. Then 6 is also incremented, and 7 is also incremented. Now you get the point how we have incremented a frequency map. So it's like a frequency map of every modulus value of that, like do a modular of every number with that number. Okay, now if all the numbers which are at the 0th frequency, 0th modulus, which means that all these numbers we have to put them into one array only, because if I put them into one array, they will eventually give me a former array in which if I even take out 2 elements, they will obviously divide by 4 or like 8. Okay, now for the second part, because there are 3 numbers here, like I want the total modulus to be 8 now, and I have 1 on the one part, so I want that the next part should be 7. I want all the numbers in 7, such that if I put down the numbers of 1s and 7s, they will obviously add up to form a number which is divided by 8. I hope you get the point, because see, as you can see, 1 and 7, if you add them, they will obviously divide by 8. So we have to like see the numbers which are like, see the first divisible value and accordingly find out the correspondingly pair, which is 7. And okay, if 1 is present, how many numbers are present? Now there are 2 cases. As you can see, the number is present is 3. So there are 3 numbers present which are of type, which are giving a modulus of 1, and there is only one number present which is giving a modulus of 7. Okay, now what you can do here is, I'll tell you more with the example. First we're gonna see this example. If we have some numbers, just leave out this part till now, just see that if I have some numbers, some number of 1s and some number of 7s, so I can put like this 1 7 1 7 1 7 and so on, or I can put like this 7 1 7 1 7 1, which means that if I have, let's assume I have 3 7s and I have 2 1s, I can put them in a one array only and it is fine. Or if I have, let's assume 3 7s and 4 1s, then also I can put them. If I have 4 1s, 1 2 3 4, so how many 7s I can put? I can put 1 7 2 7 3 7 4 7 5 7. So, or if I have, so it, as you can see here is, for every number, if the frequency of that number and the other number, so the frequency of the first number and the second number, if the frequency of the first number and the second number are same, then only we can put them accordingly. Or even if the difference is 1, so as you can see, if the difference is 1, we can put them accordingly such that they can form into one array only. So what I mean by this is, if they are frequencies like the difference of the frequency of this and this is 0 or 1, then we can put this into one array. But if the frequency is more, which means that let's assume I have 5 sevens, but I have only 2 ones. So if I put them 2 ones, I can put 2 ones here, I can satisfy these numbers, but these 2 sevens are remaining. Now I cannot satisfy these 2 sevens with any numbers out. So I have to obviously form them individual arrays. And that individual array will obviously be m divisible, so it is of no problem. Because if we have to counterbalance this 7, we have to form or add a number which is giving us a modulus of 1. But no number is remaining. We have already used 2 numbers. So we have to put them in different arrays. I hope you get the point. So we have, or if let's assume that this is 8 now. So if I come to a point which is 4. Now 4 is a number which if I do modulus of like 8, it is 4 only. And the counterpart, as you can see, for 1 the counterpart is 7, which means that 7 and 1, which when they're added, they will give a modulus of 8. But 2 and 6 is a pair, 3 and 5 is a pair, but for 4 there is no pair. So it means that if any number is giving me a modulus of 4, I can put all the numbers into one array and that will be fine. Which means that, okay, I have 2 numbers of 4 now, as you can see. I can put both of the number into one array only and that's fine. Because if I put them in a one array only, or maybe I have 7 4s or like 3 4s, then also I can put them into one array, and even if I take 2 adjacent numbers, they will be divisible by 8. Obviously, because the counterpart of that 4 is obviously 4 only. So how many numbers I'll put, they will counter attack each other and then obviously they can satisfy the condition. So I hope you understand or getting some gist of how to solve this problem. You have to first find out what is the pair of every number. So the 1 for pair is 7, for 2 the pair is 6, 3 is for 5, 4, it is no problem. For every number you have to find out the frequency of that number and its like other pair. What is the frequency of this number and this number? If the frequency difference of these numbers is less than or equal to 1, then you can easily arrange them out. If it is greater than or equal to 1, the differences, then you can somehow form the smaller part in this format, and the rest of the numbers you have to put them in different arrays. And for the 0th one and for the middle one, whatever the numbers are there, you can only put them in one array and that will be only satisfying a condition. I hope you understand the logic part now, and that's the simple logic of this problem. You have to first find out the modulus of every number iterating from left to right, and according to the modulus you have to do for the 0th number, for the number which is giving the same modulus pair, and the other number which is giving different modulus pair, you have to find out the frequencies and accordingly do that. I hope you understand the logic part of this problem. We'll move down to the code part now, and if you have some problem, you can also see the code part in the description. So that's what we are doing. We are making a map to storing out all the, like, you can also make a frequency table like an array also, but I have used a map, whatever you can use, to store out the modulus map, like how many numbers are there for every modulus value. That's what we have done. First, for every number x, find out their modulus value with m and increment their modulus value in the map plus plus. So that we are finding out frequency of every number, how much time every number is occurring, and what is the modulus value present or not. Then total is the total number of arrays we have to form. Then iterate over the map values, and then what we'll do here is I dot first will tell us what is the modulus value, and I dot second tell us what is the frequency of the current modulus. So if I dot first equal to 0 means that we are talking about the first, like all the numbers which are giving us a modulus of 0. So it will talk about all the numbers which are giving a modulus of 0. For all those numbers, I don't care what if there are some number present which are giving all the modulus to 0. We have to put them into a single array, and the total will increment by 1. I hope you get the point. The second case is if as you can see, I will count out that. Okay, let's assume that I have this as a pair. As you can see, for 3 there is no number present which is giving a modulus of 3, but there is one number which is present which is giving a modulus of like 5. So as you can see, for this there is no pair present. There is no pair present for this. So if there is no pair present, what you'll do, you cannot form an array for that. I hope you get the point. So if you cannot form an array for that, you just have to continue. So what you can do, if there is no array format for that, what you can do is the number which is not present, like all the numbers should be added accordingly, which means that if for this 5 there is no array present, you just have to add the total numbers into different array only. So we are adding a different array only. And for the next part, what we'll do, if we have to add into different array only, yeah, so then there are two cases. The first case can be the first case, as you can see, so yeah, so we have to find out the next what we have to do. This case, else if case, is if mi first, which means that finding out the other pair for I dot first, if they are same, which means I'm talking about this case, 4 case, in which like even like the modulus and the modulus pair both are same. So finding out the modulus pair is m minus the modulus pair value. If both of them are same, then we just increment the total, because we have to just put them into one array only. But the next case can be, we have to find out the frequency of these modulus pairs. Okay, and for these modulus pairs, what we'll do, we'll find out what is maximum, like which is maximum. That's why we're finding out if the first, like, so there are two values, a and b. Okay, if the first one is maximum, what we'll do, if their difference is less than or equal to 1, we just increment the total. If a is greater than b, what we'll do, we'll subtract out how many number are forming the smaller group. So as you can see, if there is some numbers which are like 7 7 7, there are 4 7s and only 1 1, so we can put this 1 1 in this part and form this as an array. So how much numbers are subtracted out from the larger group? We have subtracted 1, like this is the smaller group value, plus 1. So from the larger group, we can put this number in middle, and how much number we have removed? 3 like from the larger group we have removed 2 numbers, and from the smaller group all the numbers are taken out. So that's what you have done. From the larger group, which is a, because it is larger, subtract out the value plus 1, and because this will form one group, so total will increment by 1. And how much other number we have to, how much remaining group will form? Total number of a subtracted out this number is the total numbers which are remaining, and that all numbers will form separate groups. So that's what we're doing. Like, because we have subtracted out from a the numbers we have taken out, so the numbers remaining will add to total, because that will form separate groups. And if a is greater than, then we have to do this, or else b will do this. You can also swap them out if you want. Like, it's just same that you have to just find out if a is greater. We are just using this case, which means that we have found out this and this. These are pair, modulus pairs. So for both of these modulus pair, which frequency is greater? So whatever frequency is greater, we have to put that in the first place, and the smaller frequency in the second place, in the first place, second place, and so on. Okay, you can look down this code if you have some problem, and if you comment down if you have, or you can talk to me on the Telegram channel if you have some queries regarding this solution. I'll see you next one. Till then, keep coding, and I'll see you.